Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eric Langkamp, also known as Tricky Hunter. So I've got a quick update for you guys after a day of waiting for another video update. So we have the mech stats for opponent mechs now operational. So when you have a mech in sight and you have it targeted, you can get the target details with greater information, including all of the information except with the exception of heat and pilot stats, um, and obviously internal stuff. But currently, the internal stuff displays as text in the text messages. So let me do a quick combat phase so I can show you this functioning, and I'll fire that off. And you can see that this is the mech that fired. You can see the stats match here, and we can do vice versa here. Boom. And a mix, and there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out, and I'm going to show you the other piece that I got operational tonight. Also, there was a bug that I fixed. There was a uh, movement point penalty thing that wasn't calculating quite right for hip destruction. That should be functional now, but if you guys run into anything with that, please let me know. And you guys thought that actuators weren't reducing your movement points. The logic in the system says that it should be, so pay very close attention to that if you remember. But I'll go ahead and do some disconnecting here, and you'll notice that the panels are different. So if I create a game, you'll see the normal game stuff here, but you'll also see a lobby chat system that's implemented. So now you guys can, talk to one another while you're trying to figure out whose game's who and so on and so forth. Right now you can't talk to people within games, but the system that I have in place is capable of having global chat and multiple channels and private chat. Almost like just the chat system that is involved with Discord. So I hope that the chat system helps you guys out when trying to find games, because I know that certain ones of you have been interested in playing a lot more, but you've had difficulty finding games up until now. So if you come across other things, please let me know. Also, if you don't see that the alpha mode, the arena mode alpha version 0.1.1 is what you're seeing here, that means you actually need to clear your cache for your browser, because it's storing the old version of the game on your computer. Hopefully it should just take off, and you should be good to go. But if you find that you're not connecting or not finding games and that this version number is incorrect, that's what you're going to have to do. So I'm going to keep making improvements. There's a handful of things that I plan to tackle here up next, and one of those things is uh, mech selection. So being able to choose from the 5 mechs that you guys had selected, and also multi-mech combat. So when that's the case, you'll actually see this number increment by 1, because I actually have a rhyme and reason to the versioning numbers. You guys will be able to guess that as you go, but I'll spell it out for you here. First number here, that's a 0. That is the Land War version, so there is no Land War, so 0. This is the Arena version 1. And then the next number is the revision number. So the revision number is when we declare that something isn't a drastic enough change to call it a new version. So a revision of 01 is 1 here. So these numbers will get eventually relatively large. It'll probably be somewhere in the hundreds possibly in each slot, depending on how often we pump out releases. So, as always, I'll be on Discord and Facebook. Feel free to get in touch. If you haven't checked out um, the Patreon page, please do. Um, we are we did just announce the reward mech that's out, and that is a special requested mech. Anything that uh, is a Patreon reward will only be offered by on Patreon for a month, making those mechs extremely rare. So if you're interested in any of them, be sure to take part in the Patreon, because the mechs are not going to be offered again that were offered on Patreon. Variants of them, perhaps, but not the same ones. So, uh, also, if you haven't checked out the game yet and you're just watching the videos, be sure to do so at averongame.com. So, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good evening.